Student assessment is the key to effective and appropriate instruction. But when it's time to assess a student's performance, we often turn to written tests, using multiple choice or true and false questions. This traditional approach is not the best way to let students show what they know, and the results from these types of tests don't help educators plan for instruction. Ideally, an assessment will let the student show what they know, measure student progress, determine the student's instructional needs, and help educators plan for future lessons. One way to achieve these results is to do a performance assessment. In contrast to written tests, this type of assessment evaluates student skills by observing their performance in real-life tasks. This video features 3 different types of performance assessments: interviews, portfolios, and demonstrations. These assessments give students a chance to talk about their goals or show how they use their newly acquired skills. For example, a student might demonstrate her writing skills by sending emails to a relative, or a student might demonstrate her numeracy skills by doing a cost analysis of shipping prices. These demonstrations reflect the student's literacy and numeracy practices in the home, at work, and in the community. Students benefit from performance assessments because the tasks are authentic. Students have the opportunity to use and apply their knowledge in realistic situations. The assessment showcases the student's learning through demonstration of a task connected to the student's goals. There's a difference between assessments for learning and assessments of learning. The interview is an assessment for learning because it helps educators plan. During the interview, educators gather information about a student's goals in order to guide future instruction. Janice coordinates a volunteer tutoring program. She is interviewing Bill, who dropped out of school in grade 10. He now works in a fish canning factory and has plans to get married in the summer. The first task is to put the student at ease. Janice chooses to offer coffee and engage Bill in some small talk.
Hello, Bill.
Oh, hey.
Here's your coffee.
Oh, great. Thanks a lot. Oh, good.
So, how are the plans for your wedding coming along?
Yeah, pretty good, I guess. Yeah, I just go along with whatever Lois suggests. I figure there's no point in fighting over what color the flowers are and stuff, so.
If you keep that up, you'll probably become the perfect husband.
Yeah, well, that's the idea, yeah.
Today, I'm going to ask you a few questions so that we can put together a learning plan for you.
Oh, okay, sure.
Let's go to my office.
Oh, right.
We'll get started.
Yeah.
What do you hope to learn while in the program?
I just want to learn to write better. I think my reading's okay, but my spelling's pretty terrible.
What kinds of things would you like to write better?
Janice is keen to get through her questions, but she's just missed an opportunity to reassure Bill about his spelling and put him more at ease. Let's back up.
What do you hope to learn while in the program?
Well, I want to learn to write better. I think my reading's okay, but my spelling is pretty terrible.
Many people struggle with spelling. Don't worry, we can work on that. What kinds of things would you like to write better?
I don't know, forms and stuff, I guess. I just want to learn to spell better when I write something, so really anything.
Bill's goal of wanting to write and spell better is quite vague. Janice needs to get more details. To do this, she will explore how Bill uses literacy at home, at work, and in the community. She begins by asking him about his work.
Do you need to fill out forms at work?
Yeah, production notes, but I can handle that because it's kind of the same thing over and over again.
Are there other things in your job you might like that would require more writing?
Yeah, I guess if I got promoted to shift supervisor, yeah.
Oh. Would you like to be a shift supervisor?
I don't know. It involves a lot of writing, and I'm just not ready for that, so I haven't put too much thought to it.
Before moving on, Janice sums up what she's learned.
Okay, it sounds like you can handle your writing on your job right now, but later on you might want to prepare for a promotion.
No.
What about after work and on the weekends? Do you do things in the community that would involve writing?
Yeah, I volunteer for my nephew's soccer league, which is a lot of fun, yeah.
Do you need writing skills for that?
Mostly reading, the schedules, the memos, rule sheet, things like that.
Reading is a requirement for so many activities, but writing is easy to avoid. Bill has admitted that he wants to improve his writing skills, but Janice needs to dig to discover areas in which he may be avoiding writing tasks.
So do the league officials have a lot of writing to do?
Yeah, quite a bit, and a lot of them are muddled-brained about it, too.
So you can see ways to improve the league?
Yeah, I'd like to go for the president's position, I think. I've got a lot of great ideas, but it involves a lot of writing, so I don't think I'm ready for it.
Well, maybe later on you could find out more about the writing requirements of the president, and we can do some practice work with that.
Yeah, actually, I do keep all the things that the current president sends out, so...
Good. That's something for the future. Do you need to do much writing at home, like writing down phone messages or making grocery lists?
Yeah, I don't worry about stuff like that, because Lois can figure out my spelling. Although I would like to write a letter to my other sister and her kids. They live in Australia, and I never find the right time to call, so she wants me to send her emails, but again, I'm embarrassed by my spelling. So.
Do you know how to email or use word programs on the computer?
Sort of.
This is the first time Bill has mentioned a specific literacy goal related to writing. But Janice dismisses Bill's desire to write to his sister in her desire to explore computer-related literacy. That can have the effect of silencing a person and shutting down the dialogue.
I'd like to write a
This
letter to my
time,
other
Janice
sister.
shows more interest.
She lives in Australia, and I always have trouble finding the right time to call. So she wants me to email her, but again, I'm embarrassed about my spelling.
Staying in touch with relatives that live away is a great goal. It really helps to keep the family connected, and when something is written down, your sister can share them with her sons and keep a record of family news.
Yeah, that'd be great, and I could learn to attach photos to the emails. It's something I've always wanted to do, and any help would be great.
During this interview, Janice discovered a lot about Bill's aims and his motivation. But Janice's impatience almost prevented her from getting the true picture.
What kinds of
The
things
keys to a successful student assessment interview are good listening skills, probing, insightful questions, and a patient interviewer.
fill out forms at work?
The interview sets the stage for future learning activities. At the end of the interview, Janice uses the information to help Bill develop a learning plan. She writes down Bill's goal, and together they map out a journey to reach that goal. Janice will then share Bill's learning plan with his tutor, Anna. Bill and Anna will regularly revise the learning plan as Bill masters particular writing skills. The portfolio assessment integrates assessment and instruction. Portfolios are collections of a student's work over a period of time. Students select the work they want to include in the portfolio. Writing samples are among the most common items collected in a portfolio. Bill's tutor, Anna, has decided to use portfolio assessment to measure Bill's growth as a writer. Traditionally, writing assessments focus on the final product. Portfolios are different because they place equal emphasis on the process and the product. Reviewing items collected over a period of time reveals what students have learned and how they learn.
Bill, I think we should start a writing portfolio for you.
Okay, sure. What's that?
Well, a writing portfolio is a collection of your writing. So over the next few months, you can select pieces that you would like to put into your portfolio.
Okay. Why, though?
Well, a writing portfolio will document your growth as a writer. We can see how you improve over time by looking at the pieces you put into it.
Well, I hope it improves.
Oh, it will. That's why it's good to keep early samples of your writing, so you can see your progress.
Great, and that's all there is to it, or?
Not quite. I've brought a scoring rubric, and we're going to look at 5 different areas that we'll use to evaluate your writing.
Wait a minute, what do you mean we? Aren't you the teacher? Aren't you supposed to be marking me?
Well, actually, Bill, you'll become a much better writer if you learn to evaluate your own work.
Anna wants to develop Bill's capacity for self-assessment so that he becomes more reflective about his writing. Self-assessment often motivates students to become more involved in the learning process.
Doing this will also help us to decide on what type of instruction you need.
Oh, you don't teach everybody the same way?
Not really. It depends on where you're at.
Oh. All right, so you want to show me how this rubric thing works?
Sure. So here's the scoring rubric that we use to evaluate you. We're going to look at 5 different areas that we can use. The first area is content and vocabulary. And I've brought your first email to me, and we're going to use this as an example.
Yeah.
So let's start by looking at the content of your email.
All right, so how do we evaluate the content?
Good question, good question. We can evaluate the content based on the purpose of your writing. So what was the purpose of your email to me?
Well, it was to set up a time for our next meeting. So.
Okay. Did your email tell me where and when we would meet?
Let's see, I've got the time in there, 2 o'clock, but I don't have a location or the day. I don't even have the day in there.
So did your email contain the necessary content for us to meet?
No, not exactly, no.
So did your email achieve its purpose?
Nope, not at all.
Don't be too hard on yourself. You did put the time.
Yeah.
So what comments do you have about the content?
Well, I have to remember to add not only the time, but the date and the location, too.
Okay, so let's put down that your writing needs to include details.
Yeah.
And this will remind me to teach you some pre-writing strategies so that you'll remember to put in the details.
Okay.
Okay? Now, let's look at the vocabulary.
Okay, you mean the words, right? Well, like here, I put the word good, but that's not really the word I wanted to use. I wanted to say that I was available at 2, but again, I didn't know how to spell available, so.
That's okay. Let's put this word into your personal dictionary.
Oh, okay.
So that you can use it in your next email. We can also evaluate writing by using numbers. So on a scale of 1 to 6, with 6 being the highest score, how would you score your last email to me?
I don't know. I guess I'd say a 3.
A 3?
Yeah, because I put the time to meet in there, so, you know.
I agree.
Yeah, really?
I agree. Let's give it a 3.
Okay.
Anna has used information from the interview to create some goals, such as developing a personal dictionary. Working on the portfolio enables her to add to and to expand her lesson plans. 3 months have passed. Each week, Bill selected his best pieces of writing and added them to the portfolio. Now it's time for Anna and Bill to review his progress.
Bill, your writing has really improved. Let's look at the first email you sent.
Oh, okay. Here it is. Here's the first email I sent you from home. It's not very long, and there's a lot of spelling errors, that's for sure.
True, but remember that was the first independent email you'd ever sent.
Yeah. Still, I'm not very happy with it. How about that email I sent my sister last week? I think it's pretty good. What I try to do now is I'll reread my email before I hit the send button. I want to make sure that my emails answer all of my sister's questions and they include all the details that she wants. And take a look at the words I'm using. That personal word dictionary has been a huge help. You know, my sister's blown away at the length of the emails I'm sending her now.
This last email is a very good example of how far you've come. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, pretty good. You know, when you take a look at the way I was writing when we first started compared to now, I can really see the difference. You know, it's amazing how much you can learn day to day.
Oh, I really
Working with portfolios challenges the traditional roles of educators and students. Because students participate in the assessment process, they take some measure of control for their learning. This active involvement develops a student's confidence and self-esteem.
The portfolio gave us something concrete to look at and was a great way to assess Bill's progress over time.
Just being able to see my progress in the portfolio kind of amazed me. It really motivated me to keep going.
In the previous vignette, Anna developed a rubric to evaluate Bill's writing. In this vignette, the tutor and student work together to build the rubric. Lara has been enrolled in a literacy program for over 2 years. She has achieved her initial goal, which was to improve her literacy skills. Now Lara wants to speak with confidence. She would like to open a daycare in her home and needs to interview parents about home daycares to find out their likes and dislikes. But she's very shy when it comes to speaking with other people. Lara and her tutor Meg develop a plan. Lara will tape record her interviews with parents. Meg also wants to assess Lara's progress. So Lara and Meg jointly develop a rubric to evaluate the interviews. There are 3 steps to building a rubric: deciding what is going to be evaluated, deciding on the evaluation criteria, and establishing a rating scale. Let's see how Meg and Lara work out how to evaluate Lara's interviewing skills.
Okay, we need to figure out a way to assess your interview. So what do you think are the components of a good interview?
I need to make sure I get the information I need.
Good. So what's the best way to do this?
Well, I need to ask good questions.
Can you describe a good question?
It's one that doesn't have a yes or no answer.
Exactly. So you probably already know that's called an open-ended question. Can you think of an example of an open-ended question that you might ask a parent?
How about, what are the signs of a good home daycare?
Excellent. Okay. So should your questions be something we look at to evaluate your interview?
Yes, I'd like to evaluate my questions.
Okay, so let's write this down before we forget.
Lara and Meg have established the first criterion. They call it questioning skills. They continue to talk about effective questioning skills.
So what's another good questioning skill?
I don't know.
Well, what if you ask a question, but you don't understand what the parents tell you? What would you do?
I could get them to repeat what they said.
Yeah, that's a good idea, but what if you still don't understand?
I don't know.
You could ask for an example. Get the mother to tell you a story, something that really happened. So another good questioning skill is to ask for examples. Now, can you think of any other good questioning techniques?
I have to wait for the answer to my question.
What do you mean?
Well, I need to let the mother think about the answer to the question. It's like when you're working with me. You ask me a question, and you give me time to think about what I want to say.
Yes, that's a very good technique. Did you know that you should wait at least 5 seconds for a person to respond to a question? Yeah, sometimes we don't do this because we're impatient or uncomfortable with silence.
Yeah. You know, I've had teachers that ask me the same question over and over again when I don't answer right away, but I'm just trying to think of the answer.
I know. So, what should we call this technique?
How about wait time?
Good. Let's add that to the rubric. Now, can you think of some other good questioning techniques?
Not really. But there's something else that's important. I need to focus on what people are saying and not get distracted. I need to show them that I'm listening.
Okay. How would you do this?
Well, like you do sometimes. You nod and say, I see, or I understand.
Yes, that's part of it. And another way is to repeat back what the person has said, just to make sure that you heard or understood his or her point.
That's a good suggestion.
Okay, so let's add listening skills to the rubric. Good. Okay.
The first step was to decide what was going to be evaluated. Lara and Meg decided to evaluate one of the parent interviews. The next step was to decide on the evaluation criteria. Lara and Meg worked together to negotiate the criteria that will be used to evaluate the interview. The final step was to establish the levels of performance. To do this, Meg and Lara created a rating scale. Rubrics are part of the performance assessments. Ideally, students should be involved in selecting the criteria that will be used to assess their skill and progress. This helps them become more committed to the process. Involving students also gives them a clearer picture of their goals and what will be assessed along the way.
Laura was really enthusiastic about being assessed on her performance. You know, these type of assessments are a pleasure rather than a chore.
Well, thinking about the interviews really helped me to focus on what I had to do in the interview, and that really helped me when I did the interviews.
Terry works in a warehouse. Terry's boss wants him to take over the shipper's job. Terry's tutor Al meets him at work once a week for 2 hours. Terry said he would need to upgrade his skills in order to accept the promotion. He has been working on his literacy, numeracy, and computer skills for the past 4 months. Recently, Terry expressed confidence in his skills and is ready to accept the promotion. Terry's tutor is going to use a demonstration to evaluate Terry's skills. A demonstration lets a student apply his skills in an activity related to his goal. A good demonstration integrates all the skills the student has learned. Terry and his tutor decide they are going to evaluate his ability to fill 5 orders. They negotiate the evaluation criteria and make a list and rating scale.
So as the shipper, I'm responsible for sending things out. So I'm going to show you that works.
Good. I'll just park myself over here and let you get on with it.
So this is our invoice and what I'm going to need to put in the package. So I'm going to run back here and grab that. Okay. Here we go. Excellent. Now, I'm going to have to grab a box for packaging. All right. So now I got to find the weight of the box. It says 3007. Now, okay, hold on a minute. That should be 3070. The decimal doesn't show on the scale, so it's 30.01 because I have to round up the last number. 3.01 kilograms. Okay. Okay, so now that I've got the weight, I have to figure out what the postage is. Okay, what was that figure again? Okay, I wrote it down in the manifest. All right, so this package is going to cost us $8.60. Okay. That's what it is. And expedited is $4.90 more. I look in the postal guide for both these costs and then subtract. I finished this load, so I'll add up the shipping costs on the manifest, and then we're done. $69.55. Ready to go.
Lots of detail work there, Terry. Good. Shall we evaluate the demonstration?
Yeah, let's.
Okay. A shipper's job is full of details, but I think you have a good handle on it. Would you like to go through the rubric and talk about each skill?
Yeah, let's do it.
Terry's demonstration works as an assessment because it's practical. He actually does something rather than just talk about it. It's also a positive experience for him. Because of the work he's done with Al, Terry was ready to demonstrate his skills. Also, showcasing his literacy and numeracy skills at work is in line with his goal. As well, the demonstration integrates Terry's skills, and Al is able to document what has been learned. Conducting performance assessments takes more time than doing a pen and paper test. But the rewards and benefits are worth the extra effort. Students become more self-directed and confident. And it's the best way to help them feel more in control of the whole process of learning and assessment.
The demonstration was great for Terry. He got a real kick out of showing me what he did.
I had to get myself organized and think about what I was going to demonstrate, but it helped me realize I knew a little bit more than I think, and it felt good to show Al the job.